What is up, TFA fam? Going to conclude things with our early look at the rankings. Leaving the worst for last. Going to touch on the tight ends here. We always say it. If you've been rocking with us, you'll hear a constant theme when this kind of stuff comes up of like, hey, we're gonna get this done quick. Don't have a lot to talk about. In true TFA fashion, it ends up going 20 minutes longer than it should. But for real, this should be a quick one. Really is not a lot to talk about with these tight ends. So let's just jump into it. Here's how it looks right now. We both have the same top three. I don't think there's going to be much that's different with anybody, to be quite honest. Kelsey, Waller, Kittle is how you have the top three, and I have Kittle and Waller flip-flopped. And then we both have Hawkinson at 4. You have Andrews at 5, Goddard at 6, Tonyan, Fant, Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram, Irv Smith, and then a little spicy one here. When I saw it, I went, ooh, Adam Troutman coming in at 12 for you with the top 12 tight ends. And then after Hawkinson, I have it Goddard, Andrews, Fant at 7, Robert Tonyan, Irv Smith, Evan Ingram, Kyle Pitts at 11, and then Gesicki for me at 12. I really don't think we need to go into the top three all that much. Honestly, TJ Hawkinson either. I think that, let's be honest, with the way that things are looking right now for Detroit, it's going to be him and Swift that are carrying it. Like, it might have been cute to talk about Quintez Cephas last year, but he is not suited to be a number one. They're going to have to do something. But I still think Hawkinson can see a bunch of that volume. I know you said you had some of these guys at the bottom half of the list that you wanted to get into. So, Kev, the floor is yours. Talk about some of these lower tiered tight end ones.
Well, much like last year where we were super excited about the tight end, just like, oh, hey guys, this could be the year that a tight end takes off. Then all of a sudden we get excited about the tight ends again, and it didn't. And it just slapped us in the fucking face every fucking week of, no, bitch, no, it's not. It is not time. So hopefully this is the year, right? Because I'm excited about this year's, this tight end class, or the tight end class, this year's tight end group. So we'll see what happens. But one, I really like Noah Fant. Really like Noah Fant. I think he can take a big step forward this year, stay healthy. Hopefully they can figure something out, again, with Drew Lock, like we talked about with Cortland Sutton in the previous video. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. But with Noah Fant, I think that the sky's the limit for him as a tight end. I think he could find himself in that conversation with the George Kittles and Darren Wallers. I think it's possible. I think he has that kind of talent. We'll see if they can utilize him that way. Kyle Pitts, I know people are going to be like, that's a little hot. We don't even know where Kyle Pitts is going. How do you have Kyle Pitts as a top 10 tight end? Because I've said it since we've talked about Kyle Pitts every single week. We continue since January. I've said that Kyle Pitts is going to be a top 10 tight end this year, and I'm not changing my mind anytime soon. I don't even know where he's going to play. He's a top 10 tight end. Let's keep it going from there. Let's talk about Irv Smith and Adam Troutman. Those are the two most interesting names here. And Irv Smith is finally, hopefully, they let Irv swerve. Okay? Because that's what we need. That's what we need, is to let Irv Smith swerve a little bit. Get that, that's swerving in, because they released Kyle Rudolph in Minnesota, and so that really opens the door for Irv Smith to take over this as the number one tight end here. And yes, again, we've talked about, it is a low volume passing offense, but the dude is super explosive. I'm really excited to see what he does now that he is the number one tight end. Super young, still only 22 years old. This will be his third year here with Minnesota, so I do like him quite a bit. He had a couple flashes last year, if you remember. He had that 6 for 53 and 2 touchdown game, week 16. Week 14, he had 4 for 63 and a touchdown. So, he had some, he definitely flashed last year, kind of that upside, and why they felt comfortable with releasing Kyle Rudolph. And then you got Adam Troutman, who takes over as the number one tight end in New Orleans now, with Jared Cook no longer on the roster. So with him taking over, and again, we know how much our boy Jameis loves the tight end position. Cameron Brate, always, hammering Cameron Brate. So I think with him being the number one tight end here, and again, this is me a little bit forecasting that Jameis Winston's going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints next year, then I think Adam Troutman is a lock for a top 10 option here, because he's going to be the number one guy. So when you look at the guys that are there in New Orleans right now, it's Michael Thomas and Who else is there, right? Emmanuel Sanders got cut. Your boy, your dude, he is no longer there. Traquan is there now. I think that they certainly could address the their wide receiver room in the draft. They're going to need to. They have a massive amount of cap that they need to get under and get to that point. So I think, which made sense removing Emmanuel Sanders. But for him, he can easily be the number 2 target here, or number 3 behind with Alvin Kamara as well there. So I think Adam Troutman is really sneaky right now, whether it's in best ball, whether it's in in redraft. I like Adam Troutman a lot, and I think that he is somebody that people should be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I like that call. I think that makes a lot of sense, and especially if they are in cap trouble, they're not going to be able to do a lot to really fortify that receiver room. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Irv Smith is the guy that I'm excited about, just to finally be able to see, like, the fact that they extended Rudolph at the beginning of the season last year anyway, and then they just ended up cutting him. Like, just should have been Irv's time from 2020, but 2021 is here. Things are right in the world, so I'm excited to see him. And let's be honest, it really doesn't take a lot to be a tight end 1 after like the top 3-4 guys. So even with the low volume, if he can start chipping away a little bit at Adam Thielen, we talked about him on the pod and kind of on the last wide receiver look, and just in terms of like not really knowing what to do with him. So I think if he can start stealing some of those looks, he's going to complement somebody like Justin Jefferson a lot better than Adam Thielen at this point in his career. And then, of course, you have the Giants coming out and saying that they still want to feed and feature Evan Ingram. But I never understood the love for Daniel Jones. I never got why people were talking about him last year as a top 10 option. That didn't make any sense to me. And so like that's the thing that's holding me back. And then, he did have a case of the dropsies last year, and then just with his health as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Evan Ingram, if he can kind of put it all together, if he ended up in the, in a top 6 kind of place. But as of right now, I can't really put him any higher. And then Gesicki coming in at 12 for me. I'm expecting the Dolphins to add to that pass catching group, just not entirely sure what they're going to do. And then the guy who would, kind of flip-flop right there for me would be Logan Thomas. But that's another situation where I'm expecting them to add to that room as well. And if he's not getting all the targets that he was getting, especially toward the end of the year, not really sure what to expect from him. I mean, is there anything else that you want to add on? Anything else that you kind of struggled with in terms of ranking these guys, or guys that you were kind of flip-flopping on, or anything like that?
Logan Thomas is definitely one that I probably could have much higher. As well as he played last year, kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. Though, if you were listening, he was certainly somebody we talked about in the offseason last year, heading in as a guy that people should at least keep their eye on as kind of a late round flyer. And he did. And we talked about him all year, to be honest with you. So probably not having him in at least in my top 10 or top 12 is probably could be a mistake, because of how well he did play last year and how much he was utilized. And it's really going to come down to what they do in the offseason, because they don't have anybody. But that team needs so much offensively. I mean, they have Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson, but they desperately need another wide receiver to go on the other side of him. The Steven Sims of the world is not going to cut it. And so I think them adding another wide receiver in this upcoming draft, I think, could help. But I think they could also knock down somebody like Logan Thomas. And then what are they doing at quarterback? Right now, we still don't know. Alex Smith is gone. And so Dwayne Haskins is gone. Right now, is it Taylor Heineke? I highly doubt it. That's what they're going to go into the season with. So we'll see what they do there at the quarterback position, because that's probably going to have some sort of dictation of what I do with Logan Thomas. So I could see myself moving him up. And the only other guy that I did want to hit on really quickly is your boy that you were on last year that it did not work. Adam Gase is gone. We don't have to worry about him anymore. I think Chris Herndon takes off this year. I think this is the year to buy into Chris Herndon, okay? I think the dude got screwed. He got the Adam Gase treatment. Now, if they go out and do something crazy and sign Jonnu Smith or something, okay, we can just drill that final nail in Chris Herndon's coffin. But as of right now, if they don't do anything, he is a really exciting guy for next year, and somebody that I think that people should be looking at, later in drafts or in best ball.
I will gladly hand you the Herndon baton and let you carry that this offseason. that baton got heavy. There was a big weight on my shoulders. I hope you're right. I would love to see it. To have they're gonna. That's talk about another team that's gonna have to do something. Mims, Crowder ain't gonna cut it. That they have a whole running back too, so it's gonna be really interesting to see what they do and just how much they try and put around whoever the quarterback ends up being.
Don't you disrespect Denzel Mims like that. Don't you put that on him. Okay, Denzel Mims is an alpha, and he is a true alpha wide receiver. All right, he is taking off, spreading his wings and flying this year.
I'm here for it, man. But having him and then nobody else of mention is not a recipe for success. So I hope Herndon pops off. I will sit in the back and I will have some golf claps for him. The other name I just want to throw out quick, just in terms of someone to keep an eye on. Obviously, did not get tagged by the Chargers. Hunter Henry. Going to be interesting to see where he shows up and what kind of situation he finds himself in. So he could end up re-signing there with the Chargers, because you would think you'd want to put a tight end, a young tight end like that with your young quarterback. But he was looking at almost a $13 million cap hit because he would have been tagged 2 years in a row. So maybe they bring him back on a cheaper contract. But either way, wherever he ends up could be a nice little boost for the tight end group. So I think it's going to wrap things up. I think we did an okay job of trying to keep this one a little bit more controlled. Let us know who your favorite tight end is that not a lot of people are talking about right now. Maybe you guys have a sleeper, someone we can talk about the next time we bring up these rankings. So we appreciate you guys checking us out. Make sure you keep everything locked in here. Again, if you've been listening to the other episodes, we are doing a draft guide. We would love your feedback. So reach out to us whatever way you want to: email, social, podcast review, over in the YouTube comments, however you want to do it. We love your feedback and your input and what you value and what you look for in a draft guide. We want to make this to be the best possible product for the TFA fam. So we'll talk to all of you soon. Keep it locked in, and we'll see you. We'll see you. That's it.
Let's go.
Bye.